This lesson introduces ellipses and graphing of ellipses. An ellipse is a conic section. Slicing the cone with a slightly tilted horizontal plane produces the ellipse. The two foci of the ellipse, F1 and F2, are the bases of the ellipse. The distance each point of the ellipse is from F1 plus the distance the point is from F2 is a fixed number d. For example, if we have a point on our ellipse, the distance from F1 we'll say is distance 1. The distance from F2 is distance 2. Then distance 1 plus distance 2 will be equal to this fixed number d. The center is the midpoint between F1 and F2. The major axis passes through the center, F1 and F2, and intersects with the ellipse at vertices V1 and V2. The minor axis is perpendicular to the major axis passing through the center. Here are two different views of ellipses, one elongated in the horizontal direction, the other elongated in the vertical direction. On each of these, A is the distance from the center along the horizontal axis to its intersection with the ellipse. B is the distance from the center along the vertical axis to its intersection with the ellipse. C is the distance from the center to a focus. If A is greater than B, as in the first case here, then C will be equal to the square root of A squared minus B squared. If B is greater than A, then C will be equal to the square root of B squared minus A squared. And our equation for an ellipse with center HK is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Note that whether the ellipse is longer in the vertical or horizontal direction, the major axis passes through the foci and the vertices. Let's look at an example. Sketch the graph of the ellipse x squared over 25 plus y squared over 9 equals 1. We'll start by looking again at the equation. And I note that x minus h squared being equal to x squared tells me that I will have an h value of 0. X minus k squared being equal to y squared, I will have a k value of 0. So my center here will be at 0, 0. I see that a squared here is equal to 25, b squared equals 9, which tells me that a equals 5, b equals 3, and it also tells me that c is going to equal the square root of 25 minus 9, which will be equal to the square root of 16 or 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we can plot on our graph here. The center 0, 0. And 5 is under the x squared term. I'm going to go to the right 5 from the center, and this will be, I'll call it my second vertice. I'll go to the left 5 units from the center. This will be my first vertice. So my vertices will be at -5, 0 and at 5, 0. I still want to find the foci. To find the foci, I go from the center along the major axis to the right 4 units and to the left 4 units. So my foci will be at the points -4, 0 and 4, 0. Okay, so we still haven't used B here, but we use B. B is our distance along the minor axis, so we go up 3 units from the center, down 3 units from the center, and then we can just connect these dots to draw our graph of an ellipse. Okay, and there we have it. Try on your own. Sketch the graph of the ellipse x squared over 4 plus y squared over 16 equals 1.